60-minute gentle yoga practice as part of our Karma Yoga series. Hope you enjoy.
Let's begin in a comfortable seated pose. With one shin crossed in front of the other, roll your shoulders back. Sit up nice and tall and make any adjustments to find comfort in your body, maybe up on a pillow or a cushion. And begin to draw your awareness to the breath in this time and space. Noticing the temperature of the air around you or any smells or sounds that you might take in. As you inhale, feel the chest start to expand as you deepen your inhales and lengthening your exhales, shrinking the belly, placing one hand on the belly and the other hand on the chest to feel your breath moving through the body. Feeling the collarbones rise as you take in new energized breath and exhaling all the way out through the bottom of the belly, getting rid of all of that used up air. Shining the crown of the head towards the ceiling and relaxing your shoulders down the spine. We'll take this moment to set an intention for your practice. Staying focused in this present moment may be a good place to start by taking all of those little pieces of your brain and your mind that are scattered back in the car or planning what you're going to have for supper tonight, and just bring everything back together as one. Releasing yourself from any expectations for your practice today, honoring your body, and of course, as always, allowing yourself to make any adjustments that you need to adjust the practice to suit your needs. Releasing the hands to the shins as we come into our alternate nostril breathing, taking the two peace fingers and connecting them in between the eyebrows, the space of our third eye. Now, we'll use our thumb to block off one side of the nostril as we inhale, taking a full breath, and then use our ring finger to cover the opposite nostril and exhale down. Inhale through that open side, and then switching to exhale down the opposite side. Taking one full inhale, and then switch to exhale all the way down. So one full round of breath before you switch sides. Inhaling up. Exhale at the top of the inhale all the way down. Inhale back up through that open side. Covering and exhale to switch and down. Inhaling, feeling the collarbones expand. Exhaling, release through the opposite side. Inhaling back up. Switching sides and exhale all the way back down. One more time, inhaling. Covering that nostril and exhaling down. Releasing your hand back to the lap. Rolling your shoulders back as you sit up tall once again. And notice any sensations that may have changed with our breath work. If you're feeling a sense of calmness, maybe deeper relaxation, as we thank ourselves for taking the time to come to our mat and doing this self-care practice today. Exhaling as we bow the chin to the chest and begin to roll out the front of the neck, ear to shoulder, and opposite ear to opposite shoulder. Being mindful of any areas of tension in the neck as we move through our practice. Trying to keep the shoulders relaxed down the spine. Passing back through center, we'll inhale, lift the head back up. And exhaling, starting to make little circles with the neck, using the nose as an arrow to guide your circle. Slowly begin to increase the size, making your circle bigger and wider. Noticing any cracks or creaks in the back of the neck. Using our breath to send relief of those areas of tension. And just moving at your own pace here as we start to switch the direction that we were rolling, coming back into tiny circles in the opposite way, and then gradually increasing the diameter of your circle, noticing if one side feels different than the other. And just moving at your own pace here. Maybe taking one or two more circles, one or two more breaths. On your next pass through center, roll your shoulders back. Inhale and sweep the arms up overhead. Exhaling and bring your hands together overhead, dropping them down to your heart center. Continue moving as you fold forward, walking the hands in front of the body, and bow your head down for a forward fold, separating the fingers wide and nodding your head yes or shaking your head no. Taking a deep round of breaths here. On your inhale, use it to walk the hands back towards the thighs and roll the spine up into your gentle seated position once again. Rounding the body towards the back wall, tuck your chin into the chest, and then inhale, bring the heart through, shining the gaze up towards the ceiling. A seated cat-cow flow. As we inhale, the heart shines forward, and as we exhale, scoop the belly, tuck the chin into the chest. Now take this moment to readjust your seat, maybe changing the direction that your legs were crossed in, and resetting the spine. Placing the palms of your hands on the knees and begin to rotate from the hips, shining the heart forward, coming around to the back of the room, and flowing here with your breath as you come to the back, tucking your chin, and front shines the heart forward, scooping the belly, moving with your breath. Shine the heart forward, and then switch directions of the roll, bringing the back of the body towards the back of the room, scooping out the belly, and rotating towards the front, opening the heart, shining the chest forward, and feeling the spine begin to loosen up and warm up. getting ready to flow a little bit more and move our bodies. Finding your neutral seat, inhale and plant your right hand down to the ground. Extend the left arm away from the body and flex through the heel of the hand. And turn your right ear down towards the right shoulder. Playing around with your movements here to seek out areas of tension, and then send your breath to those areas. Maybe taking that hand to the top of the head, opening up through the neck. Our yoga practice is designed to help us sit through moments of discomfort, so sending breath when you're feeling sensations. Planting your hand back down to the ground, and then inhale, sweep the left hand and arm overhead, opening up for a side body bend. Maybe taking the gaze under the armpit towards the ceiling or looking down towards the floor. Just being fluid with your movements here. Maybe putting a bend in your right arm, playing around with bending and straightening your arm as you open up through the left side of the ribs and the neck. Breathing here as we arc back over through our center. Resetting the spine with some shoulder shrugs. We'll cross our left hand in front of the body and using the heel of the hand to open up through the back of the shoulder, just avoiding the elbow. So you want to be either on the bicep or the forearm, and maybe turning the head and neck, cradling the ear to shoulder. Again, seeking out those places of tension and tightness, and trying to create more openness within the body. Releasing from this pose, and then we'll take our left hand above the head, placing a bend in the elbow so that the fingertips reach down between the shoulder blades. And then take hold of the elbow with the opposite hand, pressing the back of the head into the arm, opening through the back of the shoulder. Breathing here. Taking another deep round of breath. This is one of my favorite stretches. Releasing the hands back down. This time we'll plant the left hand and extend the right arm away from the body, turning the left ear to left shoulder, and rotating the neck, playing around until we find that spot or those places within ourselves that we need to open up. Maybe taking the hand gently to the top of the head to increase that stretch in the neck, or even making subtle movements, lifting the right hand up ever so slightly or down ever so slightly. Breathing. Practicing our neck and shoulder hygiene to keep us moving. Release the hands, plant the left, and inhale, sweep your right arm over the head, creating an arc as we open up through the side body. Maybe looking up underneath our armpit or turning the gaze down to the floor. Bending and straightening through that left arm, moving fluidly to find what feels good for you. So we'll open up through the back of the right shoulder, cross the arm in front of the body. On this side now, taking hold of the bicep, maybe turning your ear into the right shoulder, cradling the head and the arms. And then releasing to inhale the arm up overhead, placing a bend in the elbow, fingertips between the shoulder blades. Holding on to the right elbow with the left hand. Press your head back and enjoy. Breathing. If your mind's wandering, just drawing it back to the here and now. Another option for this pose is connecting the fingertips together behind the back, or you can use a towel or a sweater. Sometimes I even use my yoga bag, and I can inch my hands together using that strap to help bridge the gap. We'll release the hands back down. Inhale, sweep up overhead, opening the heart and the chest for a twist. Exhale, crossing right over to left knee. Inhale it back up and release. Exhale to the opposite side, left hand to right knee. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhale to release down, right hand, left knee, looking back behind you. Inhaling the arms up. And exhale, sweep it down, other side. Seeing if you can turn the gaze towards the back of the room. Inhaling, sweep the hands up overhead, look up. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhaling, sweeping our arms up overhead. Exhaling down once again. Inhaling as you bring your arms back in through center. Taking the legs out in front of you and preparing for our tabletop pose. Coming onto the hands and knees, check back to ensure that the hips are stacked over our knee joints and that our shoulders are over our wrists. And this alignment is to protect against any injury. We'll flow through our cat and cow as we inhale, sink the belly, tilt the tailbone up, and open the heart and chest for cow. Exhaling, round the spine, tuck the tailbone under the body, and tuck the neck into the chest, or the chin into chest. Inhaling, tailbone up, chest and heart shines forward, cow pose. Exhaling, rounding the body, chin tucks to chest, tailbone tucks under. Good. Inhaling for cow, tilt the tailbone, opening the heart. Exhaling, rounding for cat, tailbone tucks, chin tucks. Inhaling for cow, opening the heart and the chest, look up. And exhale, rounding once again, tucking the tailbone under, cat pose. And then hang out in either your cat or your cow if you notice that one feels better than the other. Really taking this time to make this practice your own and flowing through our cat-cow at your own pace. Taking this time to listen to your body. Giving your body what it needs in your practice today as we find our neutral spine, and then take a look back towards the hips, making a C shape on either side of the body. So we're kind of bringing our shoulder and our hip together, and then arching on the opposite side. Sinking our hips back into our child's pose. The knees widen out to either side of the mat. Big toes come to touch, and your hips sink back towards the heels, extending the arms long in front of you, and the forehead can rest on the mat. Widening the fingers, separating them, and energizing through the arms As you inhale and feel your new breath expanding through the back of the rib cage, lift up, tucking the toes and walking yourself back into our neutral tabletop spine. Let's find our bird dog pose as we ground our hands into the mat. Extend the right leg back behind you and the left arm forward. Looking up, exhale to crunch, knee to elbow under the body. Inhale and lengthen, look up. Exhale and crunch everything under the body. And inhale, extend the heel and the hand. Exhale, crunch. Last time. Inhale, extend. Core work here and release it down. Coming into our modified side plank, kick the right foot just off of the mat. Extend through the left leg and inhale, windmilling the left arm up overhead. Pressing the hips up and forward, creating a nice straight line from your wrist to your shoulder, and then bring the arm forward in a modified extended side angle. Windmill your hand back down to the ground. We'll pop up through the fingertips of our right hand as we kick our right foot up in between the palms. Come into our low lunge as we engage the core. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And finding a side bend, take hold of the right wrist. And then switching sides, right hand to left wrist. Exhaling the arms back down, slow and controlled. Coming into our lizard lunge, heel toe the right foot out on a 45-degree angle, and then opening up through the front of our left hip flexors, the right groin, as we shift our hips forward and breathe here. Good. We tend to hold a lot of emotions in our hips, so just use your breath in this pose to come to your edge and try to find that opening. Good job. Inhaling, heel toe back to center, tucking the toes of our back left foot, coming into our half splits as we shift our hips back and open up through the right front leg, straightening the leg and opening the hamstring. Keeping a long neutral spine as we breathe. Sinking into the pose, find what feels good. Sending our breath into the back of the extended leg. You can use blocks as a prop to help you in this pose. Very good. Shifting forward and releasing back down into our wide-legged child's pose. Reset the spine and breathe it out. Inhale and begin to come back through our tabletop position, tucking the toes, and we'll set up for our bird dog. Extending the left leg back behind you and sweep the right arm forward, hovering and lift the back leg. Exhale to crunch, knee to elbow. Inhale, lift up, and exhale to crunch everything down. Inhale, lift as if someone was pulling on the ankle, and breathe, flowing at your own pace here. Exhaling, knee to touch. Inhale and extend. Good core work. Release everything back down. Kick the left toes off the edge of the mat and set up for modified side plank with the top leg extended long. Inhale and sweep your right arm up overhead, stacking the wrist over shoulders. And breathe, lift through the hips. And then maybe taking the arm out overhead for a bit of extended side angle. Settling into the pose as we find balance and strength. Exhale, release and lower. Shifting the hips forward, come back through tabletop And then the left foot will pop up in between the hands at the top of the mat for our low lunge. Inhale and sweep the arms up overhead, embracing the wobbles, engaging through the core, slight back bend. Exhale and release the hands back to the mat. Find your lizard pose, walking the left foot off the edge of the mat at a 45-degree angle, shifting your hips forward, opening up through the right hip flexor, palms planted into the ground. Breathe and allow your breath to flow through the body, making any movements that you feel will help you to open up and create space. Sending breath to the inner hips and groin. And keep the arms extended long, or take it down onto the forearms if that's in your practice. And begin to shift your foot back to the center of the mat. Hips draw back towards the heels. Straighten out through the front leg for half splits. Opening the hamstring on the extended leg. Visualizing the neck as an extension of the spine. Maybe playing with rounding or straightening the spine, flexing and pointing the toes, taking any little modifications to find those areas where you're holding tightness in the body and allowing yourself to release back to the top of the mat. Sinking the hips back into our child's pose. Extending the hands and fingertips long, resting the forehead on the mat. Taking a few breaths here. Reset your mind, drawing back to your intention. On your next inhale, come back through tabletop. Finding a neutral spine, begin to tuck the toes and lift the hips back for downward facing dog. Pedaling out through the feet, taking one heel down at a time towards the mat. Fingertips are separated nice and wide, energized through the hands. Placing the pressure in the thumb pads between the finger and the thumb. Maybe bending the knees slightly. And then begin to walk the feet up towards the hands. Coming into forward fold, allow the head to hang heavy and find ragdoll pose, holding opposite elbows and rocking the top of the body left and right. Feeling the weight of the head create space in the neck. Plant your hands down. Inhale, flat back, hands come to shins, look up. Exhale and release the hands back down to the ground, bending the knees, sweeping up overhead, coming into a tall pose. Slight back bend, hands to our heart, and then finding our tall mountain pose, Tadasana, tucking the tailbone slightly under the hips, widening out through the toes and grounding the feet down into the mat. Taking a few breaths here in our mountain pose, the palms shine forward. Inhale, sweep up overhead, and then exhale, fold the body forward. Hands to the mat, bow the head. Hanging in our forward fold for a moment, maybe taking hold of the hands behind the calves. Inhale, lift to our half fold, flat back, look up. Exhaling and step the feet to the back of the mat, lowering the knees, bending the elbows, belly connects to the mat. Palms placed under the shoulders. Inhale and press up to our baby cobra. Exhale and release it down. And then shift our hips back, finding our wide-legged child's pose. Breathing here. Seeing if you can press the armpits even further towards the mat, finding a nice opening in the shoulders. And then inhale, lift back up through tabletop, tucking the toes, and press our hips back to downward facing dog. Hanging here for a moment and a breath. And on our next inhale, sweep the right leg back for three-legged dog. Bringing the knee under the body and landing the foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. Inhaling in our low lunge, hands up overhead. If you're coming with me, maybe lifting the back leg. Energy out through the heel of your back foot, finding your side bend. Come back through center and then take goddess arms, back bend, look up, and then exhale, lowering the hands to frame the foot, lowering your back knee, and then finding our lizard pose, walking the foot out to a 45-degree angle. Taking our twisted lizard now, so rolling onto the outer edge of that right foot, ground through the left hand, and inhale to lift the right hand up in front of you and then all the way back around, so you can turn the gaze over the shoulder towards the back of the room. If you're ready, kick that left foot up towards the hand and see if you can take hold of either the top of the foot, the ankle, and settle into this pose. Breathing, sending breath to the front of your left quad. Gently exhale, rolling back towards the front of the mat, walking the hand to the outside to frame the foot, and then setting up for our pyramid pose. Stepping your back foot up a few inches and then straightening through the legs. Hands to hips, inhale, lift the torso. Engaging through the top of your front leg, exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward. Make sure that the feet are not parallel to each other, but that your stance is wide as if you're standing on train tracks. Inhaling, lift the torso and sweeping the hands back down to the mat, stepping back to find your downward facing dog. Letting it all go, coming up on the toes, and then step the feet forward to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, inhaling and lifting the arms up overhead, one vertebra at a time. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhaling, strong mountain pose. Sweeping the arms up overhead once again. Exhaling, forward fold. Head hangs heavy, letting it all go. Inhale, halfway up, hands come to shins. And exhale, release back to the mat. Stepping your feet back, lowering the knees and sinking the belly towards the mat. Inhale, press up into our baby cobra, and exhale to release. Tucking the toes and press yourself back to downward dog. From here, taking the same movement on the opposite side. On your next inhale, we'll sweep the left leg up to three-legged dog. And then exhale, lowering the knee, draws under the body and step it up in between the hands. Lowering the back knee. Inhaling and bringing the arms up overhead. If you're coming with me, pressing up into our high lunge. Straightening the back leg and then finding our side bends. Engage the core, finding our goddess or cactus arms into our subtle back bend. Heart shines forward. Exhale and release the hands to the mat. Lowering your back leg and walking the foot off the edge of the mat for our lizard pose. Holding here in our lizard pose, or if you're looking for something more, coming into our twisted lizard. Untuck the back toes of your right leg so that the top of the foot is connected to the mat. and then roll out onto the edge of your left foot. Ground the right hand and inhale, windmill the left hand back behind you, gaze to the back of the room. When you're ready, kick your right foot up towards the hand. You might have to lean down a little bit in order to make that connection. And once you find your pose, sink into it and breathe. Noticing any thoughts that arise, acknowledge them. Practicing sitting with this discomfort throughout your practice and taking that practice with you off of the mat. Exhale and lowering the hand down to frame the foot with the hands. Coming into our pyramid pose, setting up by walking the right leg in a few inches, energizing through the kneecaps, hands draw to the hips. Standing up tall, finding that wide stance, train tracks, not a slalom ski. And then exhale, keeping the spine straight and long. Feeling an opening through the hamstrings. Breathing here. Exhale, releasing the hands back down to the mat. Lift and step your right foot back up to the top of the mat between the hands. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, look up. Exhale and fold. Release everything back down. One vertebra at a time. Sweep the hands back up overhead as you inhale. And exhaling, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, hands to shins, look up. Planting your right hand at the center of the mat, preparing for standing twist. Bend through the right knee and inhale as we lift the left arm up overhead, creating a straight stack, as straight as you can, from the wrist over the shoulders, shoulder over wrist. Exhale and release back down, forward fold. Inhaling, look up. Exhale and fold. Standing twist on the other side. Left hand plants to the center. Bending through the left leg, straighten the right. And inhale, the right arm straight up overhead, looking up. Or playing with whichever gaze suits your body. Up towards the sky or down towards the floor. Releasing the hand back down, hanging the head, and inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead. Tall mountain pose. Releasing to our heart center. Pausing here for a moment to visualize drawing energy through the feet from the earth all the way out through the crown of the head. Exhale and fold down, releasing the hands to the mat. Inhale, flat back, look up. Exhale and fold, stepping ourselves back, passing through our plank pose, and then lowering the knees down to the mat, belly down to the mat. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders, press up into baby cobra, and exhale, release. Inhale, press it back into our baby cobra pose, allowing the tops of the feet to connect to the mat. Looking up, opening through the heart, and holding here for a moment. Exhale, lowering the chest back down to the mat. Inhale, pressing back up, hovering the hands, engaging the core. Exhale and release. Flowing through these baby cobras at your own pace, practicing with lifting the hands off of the mat, seeing if you can engage through the kneecaps. Taking another round of breath, inhale and place the fingertips off of the mat just outside the corners and straighten the arms for seal pose. Exhale, bend through the arms and lower the forehead and chest down. Inhale, pressing ourselves back up, look up into our seal pose. And exhale, lowering, warming up for our funky cobra. Inhale, we'll press up, and then staying up on our fingertips, we'll lower our right shoulder and cheek towards the floor. Lowering one elbow down, the left elbow stays popped up. A shoulder twist. Inhaling, and we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back up through center. And then exhale, other side. So our left elbow will lower, the right elbow stays high as the left side of the cheek connects to the floor. Opening through the front of the chest, inhaling back through center. Other side, right shoulder lowers to the mat. And last time, inhaling. Exhale and lower the left shoulder down towards the mat, left side of the face down. Inhale, come back through center, tucking the hands back underneath the shoulders, and we'll press ourselves back up into our tabletop and then to our wide-legged child's pose. Resting for a moment in child's pose, stretching and reaching out through the fingertips. Inhale and press yourself back through tabletop, tucking the toes. Lift up to downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet, or maybe the heels can strive even farther towards the mat now. Look up and walk the feet towards the hands at the top of the mat. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back, look up. And exhale, fold all the way back down. We'll inhale slowly, one vertebra at a time. Lift, arms up overhead. Inhale. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Preparing for our yogi squat. Widen your stance out so that the feet are at a 45-degree angle and the arches of the foot are resting on the outer edges of the mat. Now begin to sink the hips down, maybe placing a cushion or a block underneath your sits bones as you draw the sits bones towards the mat. Your biceps are resting on the inner thighs, and just walking your feet out a little bit, making space for your hips to sink down comfortably in this pose. Seeing if you can press the thumbs into the sternum, into that space of your heart center. And thanking your body for coming to our practice today, taking this time for yourself. Begin to windmill one hand at a time back behind you as you lower the seat all the way to the mat. And then extend your legs out in front of you. Flexing the toes towards the face, we'll set up for our seated forward folds with a slight bend in the knees. Planting the hands just beside the hips, inhale and sweep your arms up overhead, sitting up nice and tall. When we fold, hinge from the hips to close the gap between the chest and the thighs without rounding the spine. So don't worry where your hands land, just focus on keeping a straight spine. If you're on the thighs, the shins, or the soles of the feet, that's okay, wherever you are. Holding for a moment that straight spine, and then exhale, lower the forehead to the legs, rounding through the back and letting it all go. Releasing as we breathe and feeling your breath flow through the body. On our next inhale, slowly start to round yourself up back into a tall seated pose. Tucking the knees so that the soles of the feet connect, we'll come into our bound angle or butterfly pose, pulsing through the knees, energizing the legs. Good, breathing here. And then come into our stillness. We'll fold from the hips, rounding the body forward. Release. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Extend the legs out in front of you. And then slowly center yourself in the mat, lowering one vertebra down at a time. Laying down so that your back is flat on the mat. Engage through the core and tuck one knee at a time up into the chest. Crossing at the ankles and take hold just below the knee. Begin to rock gently left and right. Massaging the low back on the mat. And striving to broaden the shoulders and the chest by releasing the shoulders down towards the mat. Allowing the breath to move through the body. We'll slowly start to come to stillness at our center. And then exhale, releasing the left leg straight down, keeping the toes flexed. Hug your right knee up into the chest, up into the armpit area. Opening through the groin. And then crossing that knee over the body down to the left side. Allow your right hand to connect to the floor. The left hand stays on the outer right thigh. This one-legged reclined twist allows our back to release. Engage the core and draw everything back through center. Hugging it in one time. And then switch sides, release the right leg straight down to the mat. Keeping your left knee tucked up to the chest, hugging it into the armpit area. Hold and breathe. Flexing your toes. And then exhale, and twist. That left knee comes across the body, down to the right side. Allowing your breath to move through your body so we're not being rigid in these poses. As you breathe, your hips might lift, your shoulders might lift. Engaging through the core, rolling it back through center, tucking your knees back up into the chest. We'll slowly start to release the legs down to the mat. Coming into our now final resting pose, our Shavasana. Allowing the palms of the hands to face up. Allowing your feet to roll off to either side at the ankles. Relaxing through your calves and your shins. Relaxing through the thighs. Relaxing through your hips. Feel the full weight of your body supported by the ground beneath you. Allow your chest and your shoulders and your heart to relax. The fingertips relax. Your neck and your throat relax. The eyebrows and your cheeks, the forehead and your jaw, relax. As it goes quiet, know that I'm here holding space for you. As we sink into the deep relaxation of our Shavasana today, I'd like to leave you with this affirmation. I release all negativity and doubt. I know that I'm exactly where I need to be. I let go of what no longer serves me. Everything I need is already here within me. I release resistance, and my day flows with ease. Begin to draw your awareness back to this time and space as we make subtle movements in the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. Inhaling, reach the arms up overhead and point the toes, giving yourself a big stretch before rolling over onto one side and pressing yourself back up into a seated position. We'll meet in a gentle seat at the top of the mat. Thanking yourself for this practice today. Inhaling and bring your arms up overhead. Taking the palms together, bending the elbows if you need to. And then exhale, lower the hands to the third eye. Lowering your hands once again to the lips. And then lowering your hands together at our hearts. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice. The light from within me bows to the light within each of you. Namaste.